So, I've been thinking, the Houston Rockets might have a problem, a Jalen Green size problem. But what do I necessarily mean by this? Okay, let's dive into it. So let's look at the Rockets this season. They're around about 500, looking around the 8 seed. They look much better. You know, Ime Udoka's come in and implement his schemes. You have new guys like Fred VanVleet, who's been good. Dillon Brooks has been great as well. Jabari and Sengun are taking those leaps. But there's one guy who hasn't necessarily elevated his game, and that's Jalen Green. I mean, if you told me at the start of the season that his counting stats were going to be lower, of course, because you have more talent on this roster, you've got a guy like Fred VanVleet, a championship point guard who's going to command the ball a lot more. Then you've got a better, more sophisticated coach, so it's obvious that there's going to be less Jalen Green isolation, and it's going to be more centric around ball movement and overall touches for Sengun in the post. So I could have, predicted that. However, it's not his stats going down. It's the areas in which I feel like Jalen Green has not improved. He has games like yesterday against the Sixers, fantastic. He had a lot of looks from three where he was spotting up. I believe Jalen Green can be a very good spot-up shooter if he gets more looks from there. And overall had a great scoring night, had 31 points, very efficient. But that's the problem. He has nights where he's scoring 31 points with 12 of 19 efficiency, but he also has nights a bit too often where he's 2 of 12, 4 of 12, 7 of 19. Like, the consistency just isn't there. And it's more of a thing where, yes, I believe that he could be put in different situations to make him more successful, but it's about the team. You can't sacrifice your team's success just for Jalen Green. And it's the lack of improvement in his shot selection at times. I believe that there's times where he has obvious passes to Sengun, which he misses a lot. And as a whole, it comes with the territory. He's a young guard, promising guard who still has to grow. But in the 3 years he's been in the league now, I've not seen enough growth to warrant or at least be excited, because I believe Jalen Green has a lot of talent. And rightfully so, he was a number 2 pick for a reason, but something just isn't clicking. And then you have the Rockets fan base, which is kind of divided. You have the Jalen Green haters, you have the Jalen Green supporters, and you have the Sengun fans. Every time Jalen Green has a bad game, you have the Sengun fans getting onto him, the Jalen Green haters getting onto him, and then the Jalen Green haters are silent. Then when Jalen Green has a good game, the Jalen Green fanboys are like, where are all the rest of you now? Then the Sengun fanboys goes, well, Sengun is still the best player on his team. Give the ball to Sengun more. Jalen Green's not passing to Sengun. So it's a bit of a weird one. Obviously, what the fans say doesn't necessarily matter, but there is some truth behind to what both sides are saying. There needs to be a way where we find a better way for Jalen Green to be more consistent and coexist with some of the other guys too. You get what I'm trying to say? So what can necessarily be done? Obviously, I feel like Jalen Green is very much more successful when he's shooting off the catch. Then again, he does take a lot of tough shots as well. So I feel like if there's a way for Ime Udoka to kind of hammer down on Jalen Green's shot selection to make him more efficient and more of like a fitting part of this offense, that would be cool. And at the same time, I feel like Jalen Green, a big aspect of his game is that he's a microwave volume scorer. So is there a way to give him more of a license to be him? In a sense where it's like you're giving him his chances, which he has right now, but more in rhythm to be that microwave scorer who can heat up. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's a bit of a weird one. And also it's his minutes, which aren't really consistent. Like, I feel like Jalen's a guy who needs to get into the rhythm of the game more to kind of get into his groove. So playing him 20 minutes isn't really going to be beneficial for him, because if you're playing him 20 minutes, you might as well play him none and pay someone else like Cam Whitmore who can give you more. But if you play him 36 minutes like he did last game, he can give you 31. But the thing about Jalen Green is his consistency. How is he going to fit with this team, and how can you get the most out of him? This is not one of these lousy videos where I'm saying trade Jalen Green, get rid of Jalen Green, because no. Obviously, if a superstar becomes available, then that's a different story. But there isn't one available, so why would you even think about trading Jalen Green? You find a way to make him fit with the rest of the team, because you've got everyone else to kind of elevate their game. You're playing a lot better right now. I feel like Jalen Green's a lot more bought in defensively from what I've seen anyway, which is a massive bonus to start with. But he's probably one of your most lethal scoring weapons on this team. So finding ways to get him more into rhythm is going to be key for this team to elevate, because even if the Rockets do make the playoffs, they're not going anywhere without Jalen Green. He's still a very impactful and major part of this squad. So it's a thing where you actually have to get him into his rhythm. You get what I'm trying to say? But I feel like a lot of it comes from him as well, and not necessarily just coaching, because it's like, okay, I'll use an example. Tyrese Maxey is a guy who I believe is one of the best young guards in the NBA. And I feel like what makes him so special is that he knows when to take his shots. Maxey takes some tough shots, but to start off the game, you see him attacking the rim a lot more. Then he gradually gets on to extending his range, kind of scoring from beyond the arc. But he gets high percentage buckets first. I feel like Jalen Green should find a way, because you're 6'5", 6'6", you're athletic as hell. Get to the rim, apply that rim pressure to start off with. Get some buckets, get to the line, get your rhythm going. Then you can start taking these, contested J's. Because I feel like the issue with Jalen Green is that he'll be out of rhythm, then he'll just take a pull-up three out of nowhere. I understand it, because you're trying to find your rhythm, but get to the rim, take a more open shot, and that could potentially just open up your game and just make it more easier for yourself to get buckets. But it's a quick little video here, just a little observation I made. I feel like Jalen Green is still incredibly talented, but it's just like, again, if you're going to base Jalen Green's season off his counting stats, that is completely foolish, because then again, anyone could tell you that his counting stats were going to go down. Like, if you told me at the start of the season, Green was averaging around 15 a game, even though he's not, but he was shooting around 50% from the field and 40 from three, I'll take that. That's better than last season, because yes, his points are going down, but he's more efficient, he's doing more with less, and he's fitting a role, which is what he needs to do with his team. However, I feel like the issues right now is that his efficiency is really low, so he's taking a lot of shots and he's not really giving you the same point production which you expect from him. And like I said, he's still young, he's still growing, and I'm sure he'll find his groove, but how long will it actually take, and how much patience will Ime Udoka actually have? It's not a thing where he completely just stinking it out and just having terrible performances, because you see the talent. That's the frustration with Jalen Green, because you see in certain games how good he can be, and you see in certain games, yeah, you really need to work on X, Y, and Z in your game, but at least there's still them games where you see the promise and you see how good he can be. But it's just about making them more consistent and become more of a consistent offensive player. But that's all I got for this video today. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about Jalen Green. Do you feel like it's a coaching problem? Do you feel like it's a him problem? Do you feel like as a whole, hey, maybe moving to the bench? I'm not saying that's a solution, but certain guys get unlocked that way. You get what I'm trying to say? But overall, I just want to hear you guys' opinions. Let me know in the comment section down below what type of videos you want to hear, what you want to see next, and I'll definitely I'll definitely be providing them. But thank you guys so much for listening. Stay blessed, my people, and I'm out. Peace.